We have breaking news. A sinkhole has just swallowed up Hot Topic store and all the emails are going wild. Now let's go to our reporter live on scene. I'm on scene at the Hot Topic store where the dough line opened up. A dough line is a type of sinkhole where a large depression is formed by solution or the collapse of limestone. This Hot Topic store was sitting on limestone, a sedimentary rock consisting of calcium carbonate. Carbonation is when rainwater and dissolved carbon dioxide mix to form a weak carbonic acid. Calcium carbonate in the rocks reacts with acidic water and dissolves, leaving behind calcium bicarbonate. This compound is soluble and is easily washed away by running water. Humans may have caused this dough line by burning fossil fuels. Air pollution from burning fossil fuels is the major cause of acid rain, which dissolves limestone. The main chemicals in acid rain from air pollution is nitrogen and sulfur dioxide. Deforestation can also be a human impact for causing a dough line to develop. Without trees, the soil can become weak and unable to stay in place. A lack of trees also means more carbon dioxide in the air. The large amounts of carbon dioxide can dissolve and mix with rainwater, causing even more soluble calcium bicarbonate. Wow, that was some interesting information about sinkholes and dough lines. It really makes me think deep. And now to the weather.
That was some interesting news about sinkholes. Thanks, Bethany. I'm Angelina Nastas here, chillaxing in Tampa, Florida, where it feels like the summer never ends, and neither does the orange juice. In fact, today, on June 5th, we have a high of 32 degrees Celsius. The high was at 6 p.m. and not at times such as noon because the sun has hit the Earth's surface for a longer amount of time, causing the ground to be at a warmer temperature. Also, the amount of sun rays, the incoming solar radiation, or insolation, is greater than the outcoming radiation, causing the ground to heat up. The relative humidity for today is 74%, which is not the same as absolute humidity, which is measured in grams of moisture per cubic meter. The actual difference between the two is that absolute humidity tells one how much moisture is in the air, whereas relative humidity expresses the amount of moisture in the air as a percentage of the maximum that air of a certain temperature can hold. The morning low for today was 24 degrees Celsius and was at 7 a.m. It is usually cold in the morning, especially at sunrise, because during the night, long-wave radiation, all that heat that has been built up during the day, is released, making the Earth's surface cool. The sun has not been able to heat up the Earth's surface during this time, making it so cool in the morning. The high-pressure systems are moving towards the low-pressure systems, especially the ones from the middle moving to the low systems in the east. They do this because air likes to move from high pressure to low pressure. There is a front in the east along this pressure system. This rain comes with a front, which you can see here. It is called frontal or cyclonic rainfall. It forms when hot air and cold air, either coming from the front, so they meet. How does this form rain? Well, the warm air, as it is less dense and lighter, rises over the cold air, and as it rises, it cools and condenses, forming rain clouds and eventually rain. Now let's see some conditions for a few more cities. Over in London, UK, at 7:38 p.m., it is 21 degrees Celsius with a high of 25 and a low of 10. London is a bit cool due to its location north, but due to the great amount of urban areas, it still retains some heat, not making it as cold as, for example, Russia or France. There is 0% of chance of rain. There will be no rain as the temperature is low and the sun is down. Therefore, there is a lack of evaporation, similar to the case in Japan. Crawley, England, at the same time, it is 21 degrees Celsius with a high of 23 and a low of 10. Crawley is also cold, just like in London, due to its location in the northern hemisphere. But since it is urban, it is able to retain some heat. There is no chance of rain here due to the low temperatures and the fact that the sun is down, similar to London. In Paris, France, at 8 p.m., there is a high of 19 degrees Celsius and a low of 14 degrees Celsius. Right now, it is at a current 19 degrees. It is also a bit cooler here, near room temperature, a nice temperature temperature outside due to its location away from the most radiation from the sun, with a 20% chance of rain. There is a small possibility that it could rain due to the low temperatures condensing the water molecules in the clouds. New Delhi, India at 12:06 a.m. is 33 degrees Celsius with a high of 33 and a low of 30. It is one of the hottest countries we are going to go over, as it is near the equator, and due to its high density cities and urban areas, which can be explained by the urban heat island effect, which explains how urban areas are hotter than their surrounding rural areas, especially due to pollution and the great amount of heat that urban areas can store. There is a 10% chance of rain. Though the temperature is high, the sun is down, which results in a lack of evaporation. Hong Kong, China, has at 2:35 a temperature of 27 degrees Celsius, with a high of 27 and a low of 24. China is in the same position as Honolulu, a bit above the equator, thus making it a bit warmer than countries such as Russia or France. There is a 60% chance of rain. The chance of rain is so high because the temperature is so high and because the area is naturally warmer. Here in Moscow, Russia, you better put in your jacket. It is currently 9 degrees Celsius at 9:34 p.m. and we have a high of 17 degrees Celsius and a low of 8 degrees Celsius. It tends to be a bit cooler in areas such as here due to the lack of sun that it receives due to the curvature of the earth and at the tilt it is currently, which describes the characters of being in the north. The chance of rain is at 40%, even though the temperature is at 9 degrees, because the low temperatures cause the water molecules in the cloud to condense, similar to Paris. In Tokyo, Japan at 3:37 a.m., it is 18 degrees Celsius with a high of 26 and a low of 18. Tokyo is a bit cooler due to the same reasons as France and Russia, the curvature and tilt of the earth, and the fact that the sun does not hit the city as often as others. There is a 10% chance of rain today. This low chance is due to the lack of evaporation at this time of night, so there is little precipitation that can come down. All the way to Honolulu, here in the US, at 8:35 a.m., it is 24 degrees Celsius with a high of 28 degrees and a low of 22. Honolulu is a bit hotter than Russia and France since it is closer to the equator. There is a 10% chance of rain. This rain chance is low even though the temperature is warmer because the sun has only recently risen and the temperature isn't too high. Over here in St. Cloud, Minnesota, at 1:39 p.m., it is 26 degrees Celsius outside with a high of 26 and a low of 12. St. Cloud is a bit closer to the equator than London and Crawley, so we have warmer temperatures here, and these temperatures are in the high 20s due to the urban areas in St. Cloud. There's a 10% chance of rain. The chance of rain is low because the water has not had enough time to evaporate. And in La Ceiba, Honduras, it is 30 degrees Celsius at 12:39 p.m. with a high of 31 and a low of 24. La Ceiba is not too urban, but it still gives off plenty of pollution, trapping some of the heat inside. The heat is also due to the closeness of the equator, which means that the sun hits this area at a great amount more than areas north or south of the equator. There is a 40% chance of rain. The temperature is relatively high, resulting in a high chance of rain. That's it for the weather. Back to Bethany O'Donnell with the news. Wow, thanks Angelina. Now on to some sports with Taylor.
Nice throw, Bethany. Now, I can't begin to talk about sports stats right now because of the flooding in Tropicana Field. Now, this happened due to a heavy amount of precipitation, which includes all form of rainfall, snow, hail, and dew, and frost. This is a main part of the hydrological cycle, as seen to the right here. In the hydrological cycle, water evaporates from the oceans and the rivers, and then it forms clouds up in the sky. And so then when the clouds get really full with precipitation, they then precipitate. And so when they precipitate, there's a lot of overland runoff running into like rivers and lakes and the ocean. And then some of it also seeps into the ground into aquifers. We're getting information now that the ground under the field is concrete, and due to its low porosity and permeability, the water doesn't have much of a place to go. Water then accumulates in the field and causes flooding, as there are no rivers or large bodies of water nearby. Human causes of flooding mainly include the concrete itself underneath the surface. Pipes and drainage systems can also cause flooding, as they divert water into other areas. Cloud seeding, which is the introduction of silver iodide, solid carbon dioxide, or ammonium nitrate, may have also caused an increase in rain, which partially caused the flooding.
Possible solutions of future flooding include switching to a different drainage system, such as grates, or choosing a more permeable soil, such as loam.